Hey everyone, thanks for listening in today. I'm Marty with Warehousing Operations as a Career. We've covered a lot of ground over the last 27 weeks, everything from my thoughts on how to write our resumes to getting the attention of the light industrial recruiter and how to take control of that phone interview and the actual face-to-face meeting we know we're going to get. Man, I've really enjoyed our talks about quite a few of the warehouse positions we may be interested in. Really good jobs to break into warehousing at the general labor level and planning out our advancements, formulating our goals towards our career choices. We've had some great interviews, and I've enjoyed covering the subjects and topics each week. Boy, our guests really enjoy what they do, don't they? Your questions have been great. Keep them coming. It's so interesting to research your topics and suggestions. We had some scheduling opportunities for today's guests. Seems flights are being delayed everywhere. I'll try to catch up to them next week, and we'll get that episode done. That being said, let's get to a few questions that I've been asked or heard about over the last several weeks. First up, we hear something like this pretty often. What's up with getting these warehouse jobs? They advertise a position for like $13.50 an hour, and when I apply, I'm just offered a job of $10 an hour. I can't figure temp agencies out. I've been working in an auto parts store for almost 2 years, and I was making $12 an hour. I did everything in the store, the front and the back, and I'm a really hard worker. I could learn to drive a forklift really quick, and I'm a fast learner. Okay, I think it's important that we understand how a temporary agency works. As we learned from John in, I believe it was episode 16, Temporary Staffing Agency, there's really like 3 kinds of services. You have the day labor gigs, the temporary or short-term assignments, and then the temp to perm jobs. In our world, and what we'll probably be dealing with to break into warehousing is the short-term assignments and more often than not the temp to perm jobs, and those are the ones that we're really after. As we've learned, it's expensive to train a warehouseman, especially to positions where we'll be using some type of powered industrial equipment. It seems these days more and more facilities, both in production and the distribution centers, we're seeing companies hiring sourcing or recruiting agencies to find their talent or employees for them. These agencies are tasked with finding that experienced employee with a stable work history and really already in that position or doing that job. They want someone that can hit the floor, be shown the company's process and procedures, and be productive that first week. We have to remember that $12 an hour job that we had, we don't have anymore, and that salary doesn't necessarily move on with us to another field or position. When we apply for a forklift position listed at $13.50 an hour, they'll be looking for the most experienced person that they can find. Their customer has tasked them with finding someone that knows how to perform in the position and be productive as soon as we bring them to the floor. Being offered the general labor position more at the $10 rate is not necessarily a bad thing. It gets us in the door somewhere and gives us the chance to impress our bosses with our work ethics. Then it's our responsibility to learn that job and start asking for others within the company. Taking on more responsibility, learning the positions, right there beside us or around us, getting those promotions. You'll really be surprised how quickly we'll advance within the pay grades. A real quick story. I know a gentleman that just 5 months ago lost his job in the retail environment. He took a general labor position in a warehouse and a $2.50 an hour pay cut from his previous job. In just 5 short months, he's moved through 3 different warehouse positions, learned to operate several different kinds of electric pallet jacks, received his 29 CFR 1910.178 training for free, and has surpassed his old salary by $2 an hour. Now he's working hard, learning everything he's being exposed to, and will probably be an order selector within the year with an earning potential of almost double his beginning salary. Rarely is there going to be a shortcut to the skilled positions within the warehouse. Experience is all we can really rely on to get us there. Thankfully, that training or education, if you will, is free, and it doesn't take all that long to graduate to the next position. Remember, our management team isn't necessarily going to come to us about advancement. we're doing a great job for them, and they may be perfectly content with us staying where we are. I mean, they don't have to worry about our job getting done. It's up to us to make sure we let them know that we love what we're doing, but we want more. We want to keep on learning and advancing within the company. Let me grab another question real quick. Here's another recurring type question. You're always talking about not getting on equipment if we don't know how to operate it, and that 29 CFR thing. How do we learn if we're not allowed to get on it and use it? A very good question. Operating powered industrial equipment isn't all that hard, but it really can be dangerous. We just need to be shown how it works, how to operate it safely, and be observed for a while, given pointers and kind of taught the do's and don'ts. A bit about 29 CFR 1910.178. Our safety guy, Joe's, explained it a bit in a few different episodes, and you'll find the entire regulation at www.osha.gov. Briefly, I can share the high points right off their website. The easiest way to look it up may be to just put in 29 CFR 1910.178 in your browser. I just pulled it up. Part number lists as 1910. Part title, Occupational Safety and Health Standards. Subpart N. Subpart title, Material Handling and Storage. Standards number is 1910.178, and the number title is Powered Industrial Trucks. Appendix A, and then it goes on to list 1910.178A as general requirements. And then under 1910.178A1, it reads as, this section contains safety requirements relating to fire protection, design, maintenance, and use of fork trucks, tractors, platform lift trucks, motorized hand trucks, and other specialized industrial trucks powered by electric motors or internal combustion engines. This section does not apply to compressed air or non-flammable compressed gas-operated industrial trucks, nor to farm vehicles, nor to vehicles intended primarily for earth moving or over-the-road hauling. And that's just 1910.178A1. It goes on, and it's many, many pages. There's a lot of sections, and it gives a lot of specifics on each section. A couple of things that's important for today's questions, and you'll hear me say over and over, I guess it's some of those opinions of mine, that before we ever get on a piece of electric or combustion-powered equipment used in the warehouse, we need to attend a 29 CFR 1910.178 training course by a certified trainer and be on-sited and observed by a person that's certified to do so. We'll need to be recertified every 3 years, and we should carry our card with us at all times when we're going to be operating the equipment. It's important that we're always careful and operate the equipment properly and in a safe manner. That's really key. Should we ever be observed operating the equipment recklessly or improperly or have any type of incident or accident, we'll need to be removed from the equipment and be retrained before we're allowed back on it. And of course, depending on what happened, we could be reassigned or lose our privilege of driving equipment. As with any job, we need to do it properly and safely, right? Our employer will gladly train us on equipment usage. Their operation is not that difficult, but they need to be respected at all times, and we need to follow the rules and the law, protecting our company and ourselves. That was a very good question, and as you know, I'm pretty passionate about safety and equipment usage. Another good question or statement is, I've been doing the same thing for like 3 months and nobody's came to me about doing another job. I personally feel like if something like that is happening, we have to own a bit of that responsibility ourselves, don't we? I know that sounds a little negative. I don't mean it that way, but really, if we're doing a great job, we show up every day on time, and we're participating and involved with the team, learning the positions, working around us, and we've let our management team know we want more, it's just not really going to go down like that, I don't feel. Remember, we hold some of the responsibilities to ensure we meet our own personal goals, the goals that we've set for ourselves, and we can obtain and reach each one of them. If we're doing everything right and we have let our management team know what we want and nothing's happening, it's perfectly all right to ask for that meeting with them. Let's find out what we need to do, what's holding us back so it can be fixed and we can get started on our careers. Let me see, I think we have time for one more. Okay, here's one. You're always talking about advancement. Do you mean other jobs or supervisors and managers' positions? Another very good question. Here at WAOC, we love operations, warehousing, transportation, the production and distribution worlds. There's such great opportunity within each one of them. I mean, how many industries can you enter without a lot of formal education and really get paid while you're trained and end up with even possibly a six-figure salary and a member of executive management, throughout the years? I literally know people that's done just that, had great careers, and went on to have great lives and loved what they did. I honestly think every position within warehousing and transportation can be that great career. If you love what you're doing and the pay will support your lifestyle, every position we talk about is a career. The great thing about operations is that the more one is willing to learn, the more responsibility we're willing to take on, the more money we'll make, and the more investment our company will take towards us. We'll be talking a lot more about the positions of leads, supervisors, managers, directors, and vice presidents in future episodes, actually some upcoming episodes. Management is a great profession. It may not be for everyone. It's a lot of responsibility and personal investment, but hey, that's the great thing about operations, right? We can retire from a position that we really love. Back to the question, though, I'm going to say yep to both statements, I think. I do consider advancement as changing, whether it's changing from sanitation to lumping or unloading, or from forklift driver to returns agent, or really any variation of those things. Sometimes we get hung up on money or an hourly wage, and certainly our pay is important, but let's not go down that money is everything rabbit hole all the time. Remember, we're not just working for a paycheck, we're talking about our goals and careers here. I've seen many people get tired of their position and in the eyes of their fellow employees may take a step, that's perceived as going backwards just because it may pay $1 less an hour. That's not necessarily moving backwards. We're learning something different, and with it may come a whole nother career and management pathway that we'll enjoy much more than what we're doing right now. As we've all realized, we have to work the rest of our lives. That's just a fact. And it's important to us that we enjoy what we're doing and that we're challenged by our jobs. That alone will keep us interested in them, and we'll keep reaching for more responsibility and more knowledge. In my opinion, that's another great opportunity with operations. We will find something we enjoy and that we can be the absolute best at. I just thought of a conversation that I was part of today. I'd like to throw it in here real quick. I feel it's something we all should really think about. We all sometimes get hung up on our hourly rate and paychecks each week. Today I was involved in a conversation about how, at least in the staffing world, young men and women sometimes appear to be willing to change jobs in companies for just like 50 cents an hour. I feel it's important that we're sure that we understand why we're willing to go somewhere else for something like $1,040 a year. Even in today's corporate-driven world, longevity is experience, and there's a lot to be said about loyalty to our company and our peers. If we just don't like what we're doing, there's several other positions and tasks right there beside us or under the same roof that we may be qualified to do. When we change jobs, companies, or industries for 50 cents an hour, we need to think of all the other expenses and/or lost opportunities that may be incurred. We may be driving farther. It doesn't take many additional miles to burn up only $1,040 in, gas. We'll be starting over again at the bottom of the totem pole, and that's always. We could end up spending more time in traffic or have to drive in a much more congested area, and I despise traffic. And if we have 6 months or a couple of years in with a facility, we should already be on our management team's radar. They very well may already be forming plans for us. Of course, just the opposite could be the case. We could be working closer to our home. We may have less traffic, etc. But any relationship we have with our peers or our bosses is going to be lost, and all lost for 50 cents an hour. All I'm really suggesting is when making those kinds of decisions, let's be sure and consider everything and not just an hourly wage. WAOC is about careers, and we've learned monies come with experience, education, and us being the absolute best at our given position, always planning on that next step. It's my opinion in many cases that in the course of a year, once everything's really considered, we'll never really see that $1,040 increase in our W-2 anyway. We have a plan, several goals, and our objective is that career being identified in just a couple of years, right? Well, I've really enjoyed today's... Oh, hang on. Here's one more quick question. This is a good one, too. We were asked, your sound has changed over the last several episodes. Did you get a new mic? Actually, we've changed our setup about 3 times now, our complete setup actually, and we're on our 4th mic. Remember now, don't judge us too harshly on our audio skills. We have absolutely no audio or podcast training whatsoever. We're honestly just a few old ops men that's walked the walk and simply just sharing our experiences, thoughts, and opinions with the young men and women looking to get into an industry that can take care of them and their families, a career they can love and actually retire from. None of us, or even the people we interview for that matter, are paid for doing these shows. We just really enjoy researching, sharing, and talking about operations. So the answer is yes, and we kind of like this mic. I hope we're getting much easier to listen to, and we really hope you enjoy our content as much as we're enjoying doing it. I enjoyed today's question and answer time. I hope you had a good time and are able to take something away from today's episode as well. And as always, please shoot us over any subjects or topics that you'd like us to get to. You can email us, host@warehouseandoperationsasacareer.com. And please ask your friends or fellow workers to subscribe to our show on iTunes, Google Play. We're on most podcast apps and TuneIn Radio as well. Your participation is what keeps us on our toes around here. Let's each work a safety thought or a comment into our day tomorrow and share it with someone. In our chosen profession, safety has to be priority 1.